Why hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and this is a RiseToWar Legacy. And today we're going to talk about something for newer players about taking tiles. Okay, I have a video of this from like 7 months ago. This is a little updated one for you, okay? How to take tiles kind of more efficiently, right? And not lose as many troops. Your goal is to not lose troops early in the game, okay? That is your goal. As a new player, don't be like, oh, I'm going to send all of my leaders with all of my troops to try to take this big tile, right? And again, by big tile, what does that even mean? What if you're a new player doesn't even know what that means by big tile? Okay, so the lowest level tile you can take is this grassland, right? Or blank, and it's 1 power an hour. That is the lowest level tile. Something that new players should also know, which they do explain a little bit, up there in the top left, there's a search button on the map. And that will bring up this, where you can search a certain type of resource or any resource, and this will show you all the levels. So we're going to use this right now. Level 1 is the lowest tile. Level 10 is the next level tile. Again, you can search the range of what kind of tiles you're looking for with these 2 buttons. Right. You get that? And as you go up, you got 30, 40, 60 power an hour, 90 power an hour, 130, 150, 200, 230, 260, 300. By the way, one small thing, every tile resource is every single one of these except 130 tiles are the only ones that are only food and iron, and the 150 tiles are only stone and wood. Those are the only exceptions. Every other level, so a 200 tile can be all 4 resources, and all the other ones can be 4 resources, all 4 resources. Okay, small little note for new players. So you also need to think about when you're when you're going through these tiles, you will be progressing. You will not be able to take a 300 tile until weeks into the game after you've been working, okay? And even then it will be challenging, all right? It's really end game to take 300 tiles. So now let's say, how do you efficiently take tiles? Okay, here's how we're going to do it. So again, 1 power. So I'm going to say march, the march button, right? You should know how to do the march button, but I'm going to click the march button. And here's my commanders right down the side. Here's the ones I have units in. Again, I have videos on setting up your stuff and things. We're going to talk about just the tiles. I have pretty high level commanders here already, level 28, level 29. I've been playing for about a week, right? So if I'm going to march these, let's look at the bottom right here, right? So of course the march button's down here behind my screen, right? If you look down there, you can see the power of the tile is right here. It is 130 and it is a level 1 tile, right? Or commander, I believe, is that one. So because if I attack this one, it says it has a level 6 commander on it, okay? That's the level of the commander. Again, your level of your commander is in the top left, above next to their name, to the left of their name. Again, level 28, 28, and 29, right? For these particular commanders I'm showing you. So now when you're taking a tile, you want to look at a few things. You want to look at this balance of power down here and this word that pops up, all right? 2 things. Negligible. That means you're going to lose like nothing. When you attack this tile, there's going to be no losses. You'll destroy it, right? So that's good. If you have that, that's good. Now, realistically, you always want to be pressing and pushing for the newest level tile you can get, the higher ring powers, because there's several reasons, right? When you look at a tile, again, this one gives 50 of every resource an hour. Oh, that's good early in the game. Terrible later. Okay, guys, remember, you need to get rid of, you only can have a certain amount of tiles, right? So again, if you look up there at the top, you click on the little thing right here under the, next to your little profile there, picture in the middle. This is how many tiles you can have. These are your tiles, by the way. This is how you remove your tiles. For someone who's newer to the game, you click this little X on one of these. You can click where they are, and you can click this little X, and it will start removing after 30 minutes. You can also cancel it by clicking this and not getting rid of the tile, right? Side note for you guys, for newer players. But you can only have a certain amount of tiles, right? Right now, I can have up to 126 tiles. How do you increase your tile space? All right, there's a few ways to increase your tile space. Finishing these quests, right, to your buildings and orders. These give increase to your limit. At the end of the game, you can have up to 216, right? Drawing a blank. I believe it's 216 at the end of the game. And then you also have this one right here called Dominance. This one will give you more tile space, right? So that's pretty much how you're going to increase your tile room. So those you need to be focusing on for that. But now, again, efficiently taking the tiles. All right, let's get into this for you. So now let's say I'm going to take this level 10 tile, right? I'm going to go ahead and get a smaller level commander here. I'm going to get this level 9 Ori, because let's say you probably have an Ori, right? If you're a newer player, he's an easier commander to get. You'll most definitely probably have Dwarven, right? Or one of the other, or Faramir. right? I think those are some free ones they give, depending on who you started with. If I'm going to attack this one, I'm going to use Ori. It says underwhelming. So it's not negligible, right? There's negligible, and then there's underwhelming, right? And then it kind of goes up in how powerful things are as it says it. And then, so that is a tier 10 tile. That would be the next up. The next one would be a level 15 tile, right here. So now if I wanted to send here, again, negligible. For Ori, though, it says evenly matched, right? Because of his power. Again, you can see your power of your commander right here, right? 2,000. Now let's look at the comparison thing down here again, right? You have a comparison. The tile is a level 6 commander, and his power is 1,620, okay? Then you look below, our commander is, of course, level 9 over here on the left, and his power is 2,080. He could be more powerful if I had more troops. He can actually have more troops, right? This would go up if I give him more troops, right? How powerful he is. But he's evenly matched, which means he's probably going to win pretty darn well. He might lose some troops. This is what you're aiming for when you're looking for the newest, biggest tiles. You're looking for evenly matched, okay? You don't want to be looking for higher than that, okay? But let's say now I'm going to compare to a 30 tile, right? The next one up with Ori, the same character we have. Now it says terrifying. Never, guys, I mean, never attack a tile that says terrifying with your army. I know you're like, oh, I'll beat it. I'll just keep sending armies. You're going to lose so many troops, and you're going to do very little damage. If you look, again, Ori, because it's only terrifying right now because the fact that he has very little troops. So, again, I could increase his troops because he technically is on the right level to win this tile because he is level 9 and this tile is a level 8 commander, right? 3, but he has low battle power because he has almost no troops, right? He has a very small army. You could be the best commander in the world and, you know, have 5 guys versus a million, and you're not going to probably win, right? Unless you got some amazing advantage. And then let's go into another level, right? So now let's go to find a level. The next level we have here is the 40 tile, okay? So again, I'm going to search for any level 40 tile. There's one right there. So now if I attempt to attack this one with him, it still says terrifying. There is one, I believe terrifying is always the level above. I'm trying to remember. Let me just see here real quick. Negligible, terrifying. Let me just add some more troops to my thorn here real quick. Oh, no, wrong one. Here we go. Let me remove something. I want to show you one very important thing here. All right, I'm going to add some troops to these guys. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to say, I'm going to have my Thorn go try to take this 200. Still says terrifying. Okay, well, what about a 150 tile for Thorn? Okay, what if you don't want to use your terrifying? Here's a 150 tree tile, right? Evenly matched, right? Oh, that's what I want to attack. So if you look again, my commander is level 29. He's got full troops, right? You look at the tile down here. It's a level 28 commander, and it's 24,500 power, and I have 28, almost 29,000 power. Again, this power will go up if you have more slots from your military academy. Very important to upgrade your military academy. It's in your buildings, okay? It'll increase how many men you can have on that thing, and of course, how high level your commander is. And also, if your commander is a leader, he can have, when he hits level 20, he can have 5 more command, okay? There's a difference between that for newer players. This is important for tile taking. You need to know this. Up here, see how Thorin says leader? He gets +5 command when he hits level 20. Other characters, like for example Gimli, he gets +2 might, or 2 skill points, and he gets 10% physical damage, right? And plus some might as a warrior. So he doesn't get, when he hits level 20, extra 5 thing. So I highly recommend. The next thing you need to think about when you're officially taking tiles, guys, you need to think about what commander you're using, okay? So if you're a newer player, you're not going to have a whole lot of commanders that are like probably super great at taking tiles. There are a couple of the newer, I'm saying this is for the good side at least. The other side, I don't play evil quite as much, so I can't give you really great info on that at this moment. I might make a video in the future for you, but you need to find people that can really take tiles easily. Gandalf the Grey is one that you usually can get level 2. He's a level 2 commander. He's a very good tile taker. He's one of the best in the game, okay? A lot of people use him for that, okay? Gandalf the Grey. The reason for that is he has abilities to protect his troops, right? And he has heals. He has an ability that stuns his enemy, right? And he also gives his units evade early in the fights. So that's really, really important. You want people, commanders that can stun the enemy units or fear them or something. Or not fear them, excuse me. Make them maddened. But maddened is still not as good as having initiative, stunning them, having healing for your own troops so your troops don't die as much. Because again, the big one is not losing troops early, you guys. Because as you want to lose as little troops as possible. So for example, since Thorin is a great example of a good commander. He's a tier 3 commander. If you're a brand new player, you're most likely not going to have Thorin anytime soon. It took me several seasons to get Thorin as I was playing, but I'm going to send him over there as we continue to talk about this. So now that you kind of know you need good commanders, you want to be upgrading your military academy to be increasing their size. You may want to be using a commander that is a leader. When you hit level 20, he can take more. It'll help you take tiles. This one is the one that increases your commander's ability to have more troops. And of course, as you upgrade, you want to get to higher tier units, right? You really want to get to tier 2 units as soon as you can. And then of course, tier 3 later on, because having tier 2 units increases your power greatly, okay? It increases that number right here greatly. Tier 2 units are just far more powerful than tier 1, and tier 3 are far more powerful, and so on and so forth, right? So you really keep an eye out for that, okay? So the next thing then we need to talk about is, now that you know the power levels and stuff, so I'm going to easily take this 150. Is there a time that you should attack a tile that says terrifying, right? Yes, there is. If you think your commander can do it, as in, for example, your commander's, let's say, a few levels under, right? For example, I had my Thorin and my Theoden attack a 200 several times yesterday to take it. Why is that? Well, there's a system called mock battling, or in this game mode, it is called, oh my goodness, sharpening of mind, I believe. Mind sharpening. And it allows you to get XP. The higher you can mock battle on the tile, and your character can get a lot of XP without just losing troops. You can just use stamina to gain experience higher, quicker. The higher level the tile it is, the more experience you get for your commander. So if you get a level 200 early, it helps you get more 200s because you can send commanders to mock battle on it, or mind sharpen, and they can get higher level, have more troops, be a higher level commander, have more skills, and then easier to take other tiles, right? So that there is a time to occasionally attack a terrifying tile, you guys. But you need to know a few things. There's one thing I'd recommend you guys doing, is sending in a commander with almost no troops, okay? So there's two ways to do this. So if you're in the normal game mode, you can just like send with some cheap units. I'm gonna use this 8 level 1 cavalry, and I'm gonna send him in to attack this 200 tile. Let's say, and he's level 9. I know he's gonna get destroyed. Look at the difference in power, right? And it's level 35 commanders, he's level 9. But the point of this is, he's gonna see what units are on the tile. Now, there is something that's very important. When you get to level 200 tiles, right? You remember the different levels of tiles that I was explaining? 1 through 150 only have one group of armies. After 200 through 300 tiles have 2 armies on them. They're stacked. So you have to beat the first army, and then you have to beat the second army. You have to remember too, once you attack a tile, after 15 minutes, that tile will reset, right? The first battle you take on it, it will reset, and all the armies on there will get all their men back, okay? So you have to keep that into account. Can you kill it within 15 minutes, right? Even if you're marching back and forth, refilling your armies. So that is something you need to think about as well when you're taking tiles. Very important for new players. You have to realize they refresh after 15 minutes. Don't send another group saying, oh, I almost won, I just need to send one more army, and then your army takes 2 minutes to get there, and you realize that the countdown is up in 30 seconds. You're going to get there and hit it and find out that the armies are all back. You're going to be like, what the heck, right? So keep that in mind. So again, why am I doing this with Ori? Sending him with almost no troops to hit this tile when he's going to obviously get killed, this low-level commander. I want to see what armies are on the tile, okay? That's the goal. This is very helpful, right? Because you need to know if there's a commander or units on that tile that are going to counter your units and wipe you out if you're going to attack a terrifying tile, okay? That's really, really important for tile taking efficiently, you guys. You have to know what's on there. So now, of course, he gets destroyed. It was a Grima Wormtongue. So now we know, oh, it's Grima. What is Grima the most horrible, right? Grima does madness. He makes your units go crazy and attack each other, okay? you need to be really careful about Grima. He's one of the worst tiles to take. This is a great example. I love this Grima. He will just madden your troops and you will get destroyed because your own troops will kill each other. Well, he's also killing you. This is where items are very helpful, or a character that can't be maddened, right? Or helps make his troops immune to a certain commander. But again, it really comes down to items. So if I go into items here for my Theoden, for example, I have a helmet here on him, and it is called the Horse Helm. This is a great item to counter Grima Wormtongue. I will sometimes, except that's not the right ability on it. That's mounted combat, excuse me. We'll go to this guy right here. Resolve. First 3 rounds, all allies, 100% chance to gain madness immunity. This is how you beat Grima Wormtongue on tiles, guys, okay? So this is really, really good. It's fantastic, okay? So that's how I would counter him. Again, so my Thorin, he'd probably do no problem trying to take this tile, even though it's terrifying. Thorin is also very good because he is, as you noticed here, we're going to talk about Thorin. Let's move into Thorin here. He lost very little troops. This is ideal. That was an evenly matched battle. It said he's only 1 level higher than the other commander, but if I go into the stats here, I only lost 194 guys, and some were wounded, right? As you can see, he did healing, and he only took 21,000. I did 105,000 between Thorin and the soldiers. Well, that's fantastic. That's a great outcome. Why is Thorin so good at it again? If you go into his abilities, Thorin has a stun here. He does some damage himself. He has another stun here for the enemies. Against 2 enemy units, he has a 50% chance to stun each round. Frighten's amazing ability. He has Revitalize, which a couple other characters have. If you see this ability, it's very good for taking tiles. Balin has it as well. Your max is 2 targets. They recover HP, right? He does some damage, and 1 ally recovers HP. It's awesome. Inspiration basically is a stacking thing. This is Gandalf All Great also has this stacking defensive ability where your units do more damage. So early in the game, you're stunning the enemies, you're doing lots of damage, you're healing your own guys. It's very effective to not lose troops because you kill a lot of their troops early on the tile. This is also for PvP combat important, but you kill a lot of their troops early on the tile. Now they don't do as much damage. You finish off the tile quickly with very little losses. That's the goal, right? That's the goal of this tile, taking efficiently. So again, pretty darn efficient. I can refill his troops here. He had no problem taking that tile, that 150 tile. Again, he is level 29 commander. I have very good gear on him. Gear does matter, right? I really highly recommend, if you're trying to take stuff, I'm sorry, Thorin is so loud killing that troll. If you're trying to take stuff, make sure you think about getting items that are good at taking stuff, okay, guys? So Scout's Mail is a great one, right? Because the 3 allied units, 60% chance to evade the first instance of damage. It's really powerful, especially on Thorin because it gives might. Now you're like, oh, speed, not amazing on Thorin, but if you increase your speed on a commander, if you look at speed over here, it actually increases your speed in battle, which means your initiative. Think like D&D, right? Your initiative. You go first in the turn order, right? You rolled a natural 20 compared to your enemy who rolled a, 5. Of course, you're going to go first in the turn order, right? So speed does increase your army's initiative and your march speed across the map as they travel across the map. Both things, okay? So it's very good. It's very helpful sometimes to take tiles. But again, I'm using this mainly because of the Shroud ability. Later in the game, I will most likely switch it to some kind of might ability with defenses for PvP, right, for my Thorin. But again, it's important to think about that early. Don't forget your items. Little side note, this isn't part of the video really, but your items do get familiarity as you are. So if you put a new item on someone, you'll have to use them on sweeping. It does, or taking tiles to get it familiar to your character. So right now, it normally would be 0, and you'll have to get this all the way up by killing things and stuff. And then your stats up here, this will always be the same, the bottom ability, but your stats will actually go up all the way then. Because right now, technically, it's not all the way stats. If you look at the weapon not equipped, that's the actual stats. So you have to it's to prevent just switching of weapons very quickly in combat. You actually have to use the weapon for a while. I do highly recommend you go in here and you do Imparting Wisdom. If you have excess blue or green items, use them for this. Impart Wisdom to your commanders, and they get an automatic ability for each one as they level up. They get an extra skill point. Very helpful for taking tiles. And also, they makes it where familiarity is a 50% automatically. It says it right there when you switch an item. So it's a little faster to re-equip your commanders, okay? Little side note there. But don't do that unless you have extra items, like green items. I highly recommend using only green and blue items to upgrade your purples, right? Or if you're someone that only really has blues, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, just think about that. Don't destroy all your items if that's all you have, if you're a new player. Make sure you have the items to use for your 1 or 2 commanders. I do recommend when you're taking tiles, this is really important, only use like 2 or 3 commanders. And if you're a newer player, you may want to only be focusing on 1 commander to take your big tiles. You could have your other commanders use their stamina to take little tiles between. So for example, if I wanted to get to a tile, I could use my little commander to take these 1 tiles, right? And crawl to the next tile. So, and then I'll use my Thorin, my highest level commander, to take the big tile, right? You want to save stamina. When you're officially taking tiles, you don't want to use all your stamina up by crawling with your big commander through little 1 tiles that are negligible, right? Might as well send in another small level commander to take that tile for him, and then use my big commander to take the tiles that are evenly matched, the 150 tiles, right? Like this one. So again, I would crawl there with using a different commander, and then I will have Thorin take the big tile because it's evenly matched, because none of my other commanders are going to take it as good as Thorin, right? And there's a limit to how much stamina each commander has, right? But that's for another video. So again, hopefully that helps you out efficiently taking tiles. These principles work for 260s, right? 230s, 260s, and 300 tiles that we're just talking about, because after 200, they're all double armies. There's one other ability in the Kings of Game Men mode that is amazing, and I probably should have said at the beginning of the video, but if you look at and use a ring power on a tile, there's clairvoyance ability that you earn inside your ring. It's right here, clairvoyance. It allows you to obtain information about the first 2 defensive armies on the tile, meaning if it's a 200 plus tile, has 2 armies, it tells you everything about them, right? Very helpful if you're trying to take that tile, your first 200 tile, or your first, 300 tile. Very, very helpful later in the game. I would not waste your ability points for earlier than 200 tiles with this, unless you really need having troubles for a 150 or something. Also, that does work if enemy commanders for PvP are on a tile. It'll only show the top 2 commanders that are sitting on the tile. So that means if there's 5 enemy armies of real players on a tile that's a 200 tile, it will show you the top 2 real players. It will not show you the other 3 under that and the 2 armies that are defending the tile that are computers, right? Because every tile always has a defending computer tile, which is what we're talking about in this video for taking tiles. So Gothmog, I'm letting him use his stamina to take these, and then I'm going to send Thorin to take that, and then I'm going to get rid of these low-level ones. Because again, remember, as you're going, I want to be increasing my strength of my tiles, right? How much resources I'm getting and stuff. I don't really want these 30s anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these 30s, right? All these 30s right here. I don't want these 15s anymore. No, thank you, right? And I'll get rid of that one once the defense thing's off it, right? That's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about that for PvP later. When you first take a tile, they have a little timer where no one can take it and you can't remove it for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or so. And then at that point, 3 minutes, excuse me. And then at that point, you can remove it, or someone else, an enemy, could take it. All right, good to know, good to know. Again, evenly matched. I'm not full on units, but that's okay. I'm evenly matched. I would always recommend being above the enemy in power if you can. Try to always be above. There are going to be times you need to take a higher level tile. You're going to be under when you're evenly matched, or you're going to be terrified level where they're really, really powerful. They're higher level commander, higher level troops, which you can do if you have multiple commanders ready that are all like 4 levels under, but you have like 3 of them ready, or 2 of them, where you have one go in, you pull them back, you refill troops, you send them back in on the tile, boom, boom, boom. You can do that. I would just highly recommend not doing that too much early, where just try to get one big tile, like a 200, do some mock battling or mind sharpening on it, then go once it shows that you're evenly matched for 200s or even more, like overwhelming where you could easily take it, then start wiping out your 200, getting lots of 200 tiles, increasing your ring power per hour, increasing your resources. Make sure you balance what tiles you're getting. It's really annoying if you have one resources down a lot. There's going to be areas where that's not going to be possible, or you're going to be low on one resource just because of the area you're in the world. That's where you want to upgrade your market too. Side note. All right, you guys, I think I covered that pretty thoroughly in under 25 minutes. So you guys have a great day in Middle Earth. Thank you to my Patreons. Subscribe button's there if I earned it, guys. We do lots of RiseToWar stuff here. I do some guides on RiseToWar. I do a lot of guides on LOTR. And we play a lot of LOTR, and I do voiceovers. It's right over there if you want to check it out. Next video is up there for RiseToWar. You guys have a great day in Middle Earth, and I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Baruch Hazad Kuzad, I met you. See ya.